Will the Eagles be able to pick up their first W? Are the Vikings going to go 0-3? If the Niners lose any more players due to injury this week, is it going to be because of the turf? Find out on this episode of Breeze Bench. Welcome back to this episode of Breeze Bench. Although we didn't have a week 2 to give you due to some technical difficulties, we are back on track and ready to roll for week 3. So please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Become a bench warmer to get all the latest tea in football. Now let's get into some week 3 predictions and some of the recaps. So for Thursday Night Football, we have the Dolphins at the Jags. With the Jags doing really well in their first game, playing pretty well in their second game, but only losing by 3 points, I'm expecting them to be a really good matchup for the Dolphins. The Dolphins had 2 very hard divisional games, so this would be a really good matchup for them. I think the Dolphins will have the momentum to beat the Jags, and it's going to be a very good and very interesting game as long as Ryan Fitzpatrick is able to minimize his mistakes and make great decisions in the pocket. He's going to lead the Dolphins team to a really, really much needed win. I'm still kind of wanting more from their run game, so that's going to be interesting to see if they're able to run on the Jags a little bit. So that's something to watch out for. Also, Gardner Minshew is probably, I would say, one of the most underrated QBs right now. He's been putting his teams in great positions to win games. I'm excited to see how he bounces back from week 2 loss as well. This could really be anybody's game, so I'm pretty excited to see it. I originally did have this as my sleeper game, but it's kind of a fairly even matched game. I don't really know if I'll have a sleeper game this week. It won't be easy to beat the Jags, but it's a very good matchup, and we will see how they both play on Thursday night. And who knows, on any given day, anybody can win. So I really think the Dolphins kind of need to win this game in order to stay relevant in their division. Now on to our first round of Sunday matchup. We have the Niners at the Jets. And I still did pick the Niners to win, even though I know a lot of their team is out due to injury, unfortunately. And watching that game on Sunday was just kind of sad. Like, it could very well be the turf. I know that Kyle Shanahan wanted somebody to go out and inspect the field, and they did, and they said that it was in compliance with all the codes. But it is kind of highly sus that it's like this player and this player and this player and this player. It makes you think, like, what did they put in there? It kind of reminded me of The Blind Side whenever the tutor is telling Michael that, like, under the Tennessee field they have the they have the bodies, and they'll come out and they'll grab them. And I was like, man, I wonder if they have bodies and they're there to come out and and grab people, if that's what's going on. But it is so sad to see a lot of great players for the Niners go out. I think Jimmy G does have a possibility of being in this game. The initial thought was 1 to 2 weeks, but now I'm kind of hearing it could be like a day-to-day thing. So we shall see. I don't really know how that will go. But their backup is Nick Mullins, and against a Giants team that is kind of okay, I think that they would be good. I think their backups do have a chance as long as great decisions are made. I still do have them winning. I'm the type of person that is going to pick a team until they show me that they don't have the capability of winning anymore. They were able to beat the Jets, and it is the Jets, I know, but they were still able to do those things. Their starters did come up. Next player mentality, it did kick in for the Jets. So I still do have the Niners winning. However, the Giants have been in week 1 and week 2 matchups. They have been very close. So far as Daniel Jones almost making the winning drive against the Bears last week, he just wasn't able to do it. I don't know how they'll be able to run the ball without Saquon Barkley though, because he is also out due to injury. I have a conspiracy theory on what's going on, but I will save that for later on. I know that Niners defense could still do pretty great because the O-line for the Giants isn't necessarily the best. So it's going to have to be a lot of still quick throws, whoever can run the ball in the backfield, but the Giants defense is getting better. So I'll be watching to see if that gives the Niners offense any issue, but I don't really see that being a problem. So Niners for now, until Giants can somehow prove that they can win. The next game that we have is the Washington football team at the Browns. And the Browns came out and surprised me last week. I thought it was going to be a much closer game between them and the Bengals. And I honestly had the Bengals winning last week just because my faith in the Browns kind of just shot. It really did. But the Browns ended up coming and moving the football field really well. Their defense came out and put a lot of pressure on Joe Burrow. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt both did really amazing out of the backfield. They could not stop them. And Baker was making great decisions. He kind of looked like that first year Baker Mayfield that we saw. However, I don't know if they'll be able to run as well going against this Washington front because it is so stout, and that Washington front has been doing very well for the Washington football team to the point where it's been sparking some energy for them. So I'm going to be interested to see if Baker Mayfield has to throw farther down the field, if he's going to still be able to hook up with Jarvis and Landry, just because it's been so hot, cold, warm, really, really cold. Like, it's just been crazy. So I think that it would be a really good test to see if they can keep that continuity going from week 2 to week 3. However, I do have them winning because it is against the Washington football team and the potential is there for them to win. So I am going to give them the slight advantage over the Washington football team. However, offensively, Washington has been very efficient. Whenever I'm looking at Haskins' stats, they're all very efficient. He's moving the ball with a purpose. If he's throwing with the purpose. So they're really just feeding off their defense, and their defense has created lots of plays these past 2 weeks in order to get them into a game-winning position. They also are tied with the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC East for that #1 spot. So that could be something else motivating them. So I wouldn't really be surprised if Washington came out and kind of did the damn thing, but it would be more of the Browns having to let that game go. So we shall see. The next game we have is the Bengals at the Eagles, and this game is going to kind of be like a telltale. This is a game that I believe that the Eagles really, really need to win in order to get some momentum going in their season. I did pick the Eagles to win. I think that they will go out and win. However, Joe Burrow and the Bengals are not going to go quietly into the night. They have not gone quietly into the night for the past 2 weeks. Joe Burrow has been moving the ball really well. Yes, he's made some rookie mistakes, but he has still at the end of the day, he still has put his team in the best position to win. And that's all that can be asked of him. If their defense can create some turnovers, which has been happening for the Eagles, Carson Wentz has been doing too much on offense. So if he continues to do too much, I do think that the Bengals defense could possibly capitalize on it and create some turnovers. And that's going to be all up to Carson Wentz trusting his team, trusting his players, and not changing the call at the line so much, and kind of just trusting his offensive coordinator's game plan. I do believe the Eagles can win it. I think they really need to win it, but I would not be surprised if the Bengals did sneak in and win it due to all the Eagles' mistakes. Now, I still love the Eagles' front defense. They're going to do really, really great for them. They're going to give Joe Burrow a hard time, but Joe Burrow, one thing he has showed in the past 2 weeks is that he can adapt, and he's only going to get better. His receivers are working really well for him. Joe Mixon is working really well for him. So that's a team that's going to continually learn and get better week to week, in my opinion. Next game that we have is the Raiders at the Patriots, and the Raiders did upset the Saints this past week. However, I don't foresee them beating the Pats, especially in Foxborough. I think that Cam Newton's going to come out and be too much for their defense. I also think that Patriots defense is going to be too much for the Raiders offense, in the sense that Derek Carr to me is so awkward in the pocket, and that could just be me. He just seems so awkward and just not comfortable. I think if you get some pressure on him, he's not going to throw the football well. However, the Pats secondary is still, to me, top 3 in the league. So if they're able to hold Darren Waller, if they're able to hold Henry Ruggs, they're going to end up doing very well because, like I said, Derek Carr is very uncomfortable in the pocket. So if you can get him to create some bad throws, it's going to get some turnovers, and you know how the Patriots thrive off of turnovers. Yes, they got a big win against the Saints. I just don't foresee them winning against the Pats. The Pats had a really, really good game against the Seahawks. It was amazing. They almost won it. I think they're due for a great bounce back win at home against the Raiders. The next game that we have is the Bears at the Falcons. We all know what happened with the Falcons last week. Personally don't know how Dan Quinn isn't fired, how it's always been certain position coaches fired, but never Dan Quinn. I don't know. Like I've said at the beginning, I think that that team needs a revamp. That team needs some new coaches, and particularly a new head coach. But I'm going to pick the Bears to win. I'm not the biggest Mitch Trubisky fan, but he's been getting them to win, albeit against the Giants and against the Lions. But a win is still a win nonetheless. He's still keeping up with Aaron Rodgers in his division. However, It makes me sad because Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and Calvin Ridley played so well, and it just got blown. It just got blown. They should have won against Dallas. It was a miraculous comeback. I'm interested to see, are they going to come out with some fire, with some energy? Is this a must win for them? Because to me, it's a must win for them. But since they haven't been able to pull off that W, since they have made those mistakes, since they haven't made adjustments, I do have the Bears winning for now. Bears have made the necessary adjustments. They've won both games. They are tied in their division with the Packers. Falcons are just not it right now, sis. The struggle bus, you see the struggle bus? It has the Falcons on it. The whole team, struggle bus, struggle bus. The next game that we have is the Rams at the Bills, and I am so excited. This is like my top 3 favorite matchup for this week because both these teams have been playing so unbelievably well. Their defenses have been playing great. Their offenses have come out and had a game plan and have stuck to it and have won. This game could possibly come down to, I would say at most 4 or 5 plays that could make the difference and determine the winner. The only thing that sticks out for me between the teams is that the Rams haven't shot themselves in the foot, whereas Josh Allen in the past 2 weeks has fumbled the ball, created some of his own turnovers, and made some of his own mistakes in order to let teams come back in. But it was against weaker teams, so they were not able to do that. However, the Rams is not a weaker team. Aaron Donald is going to be coming at Josh Allen. That whole Rams line is going to be coming for him, and he has to protect the football, because if not, that's going to be the difference between the Rams winning and the Bills winning. He really has to minimize his mistakes, or else the Rams will capitalize on it. Jared Goff has been efficient. He's looked like Super Bowl Jared Goff. Did he play in the Super Bowl great? No. We all know how that went. But what has been sticking out to me is that Sean McVay has this amount of plans. And there is so many things you can do with this game plan, and he has been maximizing it to the fullest, and it has worked so well for them. It has been putting them in positions to we're driving down the field, we're going to take up the time, we're going to score, and then we keep our defense fresh, and I want you to score on them because you can't. Albeit it was against Dallas and it was against the Eagles, still 2 pretty decent offensive teams. But I have been very impressed with the way that Sean McVay has had a plan and the way the Rams have been executing it. I see them having a really, really great season. So this game is going to come to about 4 or 5 plays, a matter of inches. Could also possibly be a shootout. Like, I'm so excited to watch this game, and I can't wait to talk about it next week in the recap. The next game that we have is the Texans at the Steelers, and I feel so bad for the Texans because they have had like the toughest schedule coming out. I did pick the Steelers to win. I still see that Deshaun Watson is uncomfortable in his pocket. I still feel like he's looking for D-Hop. I just don't think he's comfortable with his receivers right now. He's used to finding Will Fuller over the top because DeAndre Hopkins makes defenses come down to protect him as well, but it's just been such a sad thing to watch for me because I love Deshaun Watson. I loved that Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins duo. I mean, come on, who really didn't? But it's just been so hard for me to see that going on. And I just don't feel like he's comfortable. Like, I'm just watching him and it pains me. I'm not going to lie. It pains me a lot because he's like trying to throw, but he's not comfortable throwing. So he runs, but then he runs back to throw, but then he runs for the first down, but then he gets tackled, and it's just a mess. It's just a mess. And that's just not working for them. So they're doing 3 and outs. They're getting picks. I feel like he's throwing more picks than he used to. And I feel like he's getting sacked more than he used to just because he's just not comfortable. I just feel like he's not comfortable. That's just my opinion. And you're going against the Steelers defense, and that defense is made to feel you uncomfortable. That defense is already uncomfortable. So now you're just going to be double uncomfortable, and it's just not going to go well. And they're playing at home. So I don't see the Texans getting a win this week, unfortunately, even though I know they need one. Their division is tough. Their division is scrappy. I know they need a win, but I really don't see them getting one this week, unfortunately. Steelers defense is going to come in, create some turnovers, going to capitalize on whatever mistakes Deshaun Watson makes, on whatever mistakes their offense makes, and continue on the roll, because We know that the Steelers right now run through their defense and they give Big Ben the ball, and Big Ben has been playing very well, executing a game plan and managing the clock well. So unfortunately, I do not have the Texans winning this week. I hope next week I can pick them to win. It just depends on who they play. Steelers for now. The next game that we have is the Titans at the Vikings. And y'all, the sun's coming in my face. Sorry for the lighting. Y'all, I have the Vikings going 0-3 because I really don't think they're going to get it together. And I am so sad about that, but I do not think they're going to get it together. And I hope they can prove me wrong, but yikes. I just feel like week 1 it was like, okay, it's the Packers, no preseason. They'll look better the next game. Next game came. It was against the Colts, and the Colts lost week 1. And I picked the Vikings to win in week 2 because I was like, they're going to bounce back. They're going to do great. It's going to be a great matchup. Vikings are going to come out. Dalvin Cook is going to run all over the place. Nah, that did not happen. It did not happen. And I am a little surprised. Vikings head coaches come out and say that they're not playing well. They haven't found their strengths. They need to find out what's going on. They really need to do a lot soul searching. Like, what is your team good at? And that kind of just surprises me because the team was so good at play action last year. They were so good at running the ball, hitting someone down the field. Personally, they don't use Kyle Rudolph enough for me. They need to get him more involved because he does have hands, and progressively through the season, they were able to realize that. But if he's your number 1 tight end, throw him the ball too. Get him involved. Use your weapons. Kirk Cousins, use your weapons. Use your weapons. But they've regressed, and I think they're going to regress a little bit more before they get better. And they're just going to stay at the bottom of the NFC North for now because they haven't shown me any kind of positivity. Toward the Titans, they have, and that defense is not going to make it easy on Kirk Cousins. It's not going to make it easy at all. And the secondary for the Vikings defense isn't very good right now. So you're just going to have people getting into the backfield, Derrick Henry just running. All he has to do is really pass up the front line, and he's gone. He's gone. Where did Derrick Henry go? Where'd he go? But that's so petty. I'm sorry, Vikings. I really want them to do good, but god damn it, they're not. Yeah, no, it's a mess. It's a hot mess, and I don't think it's going to get fixed this week. I think Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry are going to do what they do. They're going to rely on their defense. Ryan Tannehill is going to make great passes. Derrick Henry is going to run the damn ball, and they're going to keep it moving. So, yikes. Oh, I can't believe that, but I feel it in my bones. In my bones, I feel it. That wraps up the first window of games. Second window of games we have on Football Sunday is the Panthers at the Chargers. And I picked the Chargers to win. To be honest, I was very highly impressed with Mr. Justin Herbert. Very. I know that the Chargers do match up well against the Chiefs, but he was able to keep that in the game. He was able to keep them in the game until overtime, and I ain't mad at it. It was really, really nice to see him. I know that Anthony Lynn said that, obviously, if Tyrod is feeling better, that they will go with him. But I could see them starting off with Tyrod Taylor and then possibly throwing in Justin Herbert to get some fire in. He did make great decisions. He is going to make some mistakes because he's obviously a rookie. He's a rookie. But as long as he can learn from those mistakes throughout the game and put his team in the best position to win, that's all you can ask for from your rookies this season. And that's exactly what he did. He kept them in this game. He wasn't able to drive down the field. They did kick a field goal. They made it. Then Chiefs put it on Harrison Butker's back. And I mean, he got me points. So it's fine. It's fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. If you can kick 3 kicks in a row, you're fine, which is Harrison. Ice in his veins, as I like to say, ice in his veins. Panthers did play pretty well. Teddy Bridgewater did have a couple turnovers last week. He did play the Bucks. I did pick the Bucks to win because I know you guys didn't get a video last week, and that's not my fault. That is technical difficulties. But this game, it's going to be a pretty evenly matched game. The Chargers defense is insane, though, so I think that that's going to put a lot of pressure on Teddy Bridgewater. There is no Christian McCaffrey. He is out with the ankle. So who is behind Christian McCaffrey? Because I honestly don't know. If you know, leave it down in the comments, and please educate a sister, okay? Please educate me. But yeah, so there's not the threat of that. And even if you do have a pretty decent person in the backfield, It's not Christian McCaffrey who can zoom, loom, run, jump, do anything over you, and you have to think about it and have like 5 people to Christian McCaffrey. So that is going to hurt their offense a little bit. So Chargers is going to be on that. Chargers is going to be on it. So I do pick them to win. I think this is going to be a really good game for them. I hope that Tyrod Taylor can come back so he can kind of get some continuity going with that offense. If not, Justin Herbert will be there, and I think that he will get his first dub as a Charger if he does. If he does play. The next game that we have is the Cowboys at the Seahawks, and I am picking the Hawks to win. Seahawks, like, I just don't understand how Russell Wilson can already look like MVP form. He has been playing out of his mind. I think there was like I know that there's a crazy stat where he only has like 3, I want to say no more than 5 to drop passes, which is insane. His QBR has been like crazy. He already looks mid-season form, honey. He is ready to go. He's MVP who? MVP rest this year, I'm telling you. But they played a very good game against the Patriots. They ran the ball. He did make more throws than he was used to. I don't know if y'all saw that DK Metcalf and Stephon Gilmore matchup, but they was throwing hands, and that's how you know it was real. They both made plays. They both came out to play. It was amazing. I really, like I said, really liked that game. Cowboys had a miraculous win. However, Cowboys did Cowboys things. And me being a Cowboys fan in this toxic environment, it wasn't great for me. It was not great for me on Sunday. I can tell you I was a wreck. Yes, I did pick the Falcons to win against the Cowboys. And I am picking the Seahawks to win against the Cowboys as well. Their defense, their defense, and especially their secondary, is not going to match up well with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Will Dissly, especially if the nasty D-line cannot get going, because I feel like we didn't get any pressure on Matt Ryan. Yeah, we made a couple stops for a couple field goals, but we needed some pressure because that's what we signed this year was pressure. But we didn't get no pressure. We didn't get no pressure. None at all. Now I know your offense made some dumbass mistakes. They were fumbling, they were getting some penalties, but we cannot let that stop us. I just don't think they will be equipped to stop the Seahawks. I think the Cowboys offense will do great. I know that there is some injuries in the Seahawks defense, and also in their secondary, but our defense is going to be the test of time the defense is going to be the test of time on Sunday. We will see how that goes. Dak did play really well, minus the fumble. He has been making some incredible throws that I have not seen him make, and he just seems more comfortable. I am excited to see how they do progress throughout the season, and I will say it here and now, I am a realistic Cowboys fan. Yes, I love the Cowboys. I am a realistic Cowboys fan, though. I love them. We them boys. But I know what they can do, and I'm not going to sit here and front like I'm not mad about Sunday, because I am, because they could have played better. Mike McCarthy hasn't been making the best decisions these past 2 games, and I'm not here for it. He needs to make better decisions. And kind of keep us in the game. I know we kind of do it to ourselves too, but you can't be calling like 2 4th and whatever fake punts and it doesn't work, and it doesn't, it's just too much. But I know it's a mess. It needs to get figured out. We are still a hot mess over here in Dallas. Maybe we'll get it figured out this season. Maybe we won't. We shall see. But Seahawks for now. Russ is looking too good to stop right now. And in the division that he's in, he kind of has to. So we shall see. The next game that we have is the Lions at the Cardinals. And I picked the Cardinals. Y'all already know I picked the Cardinals. Lions going to be 0-3 just like the Vikings. They're going to be 0-3 just like the Vikings. But Cardinals, man, they have been doing so freaking good. D-Hop was that little sauce. He was that little sauce. He was the sauce that they needed, man. And Kyler Murray has been making great decisions. If he scrambles, he's kind of scrambling more with purpose now. Also, they have had some designed runs with him to where it doesn't look like, oh, he's just rolling out the pocket. Oh, it was a designed run. Oh, it's a way much better all around game plan from the Cardinals. I love to see it. Okay. We love to see it. And with that division only elevating, toughest division in the NFL, no doubt. But Kyler Murray has been doing really, really well. If he's not on your fantasy team, I would definitely pick him up, especially with everybody going down. Everybody going down. Even if not everybody going down, that boy had like 25 points last week and 37 points this week, but that's besides the point. He's just doing very well, and their defense has been doing pretty good too. So I don't really see anything stopping them right now. I really don't. Until they play like the Rams, that'll also be good. That'll be a good game too. So Cards for now. The next team that we have is the Bucks at the Broncos, and I did pick the Bucks to win. They played very well against the Panthers. I think they're going to play really good against the. I think they're going to play very good against the Broncos as well. The defense for the Broncos is a little bit more stout, and if Drew Lock, Cortland Sutton, and Phillip Lindsay were playing, I would probably pick the Broncos to win just because I really like that team. It's a young team. I think that they can do a lot, but since they're going to be out, I think that the Bucks will win. I expect Tom Brady to hopefully make less bad throws. He just hasn't really looked like himself. He hasn't really looked comfortable, and I know he's not New England anymore. It's a new system, but if like you were trying to upgrade from picks and you let go Jameis Winston, you just kind of, he's still getting you picks. You just haven't been playing very hard teams, and he's been putting you in a better position to win. I just think the picks really need to go. It hasn't been a really good look for him. And like I said, if the Broncos were a little bit more healthy, I would have probably picked them to win. And I know some of you guys are going to be like, it's crazy. That's Tom Brady. Well, you know what? Tampa Bay Tom Brady is just not coming out as hot as I thought he would. And to be honest, I didn't really think he was going to come out hot, but he's coming out less than what I thought he was going to. Hopefully him and Mike Evans can link up a little bit better. I know that continuity is going to continue throughout the season. Now they're tied with the Saints in the division, but I still do have the Saints winning that division. Hopefully that they can get some continuity going. That defense is playing pretty well for them and has been kind of keeping them in some of the games. So I really do expect to see a lot more of it going on in the future. Hopefully the injuries. I know that Cortland Sutton's out for the season, unfortunately, due to an ACL injury. I also know that Drew Lock is going to be out like 2 to 3 weeks. They just signed Blake Bortles. Just got the notification on my phone. That's going to help them out a lot as well. But man, that sucks. I really was excited for this Broncos team, so I hope everybody can get better and healed. And I know in the future that team is going to be dynamic. And now it's on to Sunday night football. Sunday night. Carrie Underwood's intro is forever undefeated. Don't at me. It's the Packers at the Saints. And I'm very excited for this matchup. It's going to be very, 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 very entertaining to watch. The last time they did play, Saints got them. It was like 26-17 or like 26-16 in like 2017. It was something like that. It was like a 10-point difference. Saints did unfortunately just lose to the Raiders. However, they are playing at home. I do have the Saints winning for now. However, Michael Thomas is not in, and I personally felt like Drew Brees struggled. He really couldn't get anything going with Emmanuel Sanders. I'm gonna need them to link up in practice and start getting it together a little bit. Alvin Kamara ran really great, and Drew Brees just did not throw anything past like 5 or 10 yards. It was like, Drew Brees, past 5 or 10 yards, and it was like, yeah, no, here you go. And in order to beat that Packers team and to have a sustainable chance and to win, they're going to have to throw farther down the field. Hopefully they can link up. I don't think Michael Thomas will be back. The first initial thought was like he'll be out 8 to 12 weeks with a high ankle sprain. But then Sean Payton was like, no, it's week to week. So I don't really know. Who knows? But then also Devontae Adams did get hurt this past week. And it did hurt my fantasy. But I hope he's okay. I do hope he's okay. Still won though, just in case y'all were wondering. But Devontae Adams could possibly be out this week. I haven't really checked his status yet, so it just depends. That'll be a really crushing blow because that would have been a really good matchup to watch. Even though they're obviously both on offense, it would have been really nice to watch Devontae Adams and Michael Thomas on the field at different times. But the Saints defense did not play well, and they did not have an answer for Darren Waller. I think that they will go home, get a good game plan, watch what the Packers are doing, and get a good win. However, the Packers did play very well. Aaron Rodgers is coming into this season with a chip on his shoulder. Aaron Jones didn't really get it going that first game. This past week's game, he was gone. He had like over 200 yards receiving and running, and I think he had like 2 touchdowns. So he did really, really well. But what's funny is that Matt LaFleur came out and said, one week we did this well, we didn't do the other thing well. Then the next week they did running well, and they didn't really do receiving well. They couldn't really link up. So it's going to be interesting if they can put those 2 things together on Sunday Night Football. But if they don't, which one will we get? Will we get throwing Aaron Rodgers? Will we get running Aaron Jones? So we shall see. But that is a very good matchup. It could very well easily go one way or the other. But for right now, I do have the Saints. I do have the Saints with the advantage at home, and because they beat them in 2017. And on Monday Night Football is the AFC heavyweight battle. You see, Sunday was the NFC heavyweight battle, but come Monday, it's the AFC heavyweight battle, and it's going to be the Chiefs at the Ravens. And y'all, I'm so ready for this matchup. I watched it last year. It was amazing. Chiefs did have the slight edge. They did win, and it was so great. I'm just so excited. It's Sunday, Monday, 2 back-to-back games, 2 really teams going on each division, AFC, NFC. I do have the Chiefs to win because they're Super Bowl champs, and they did win against them last year. I know the Chiefs didn't play well against the Chargers last week. Chargers had their number last week, and their kicker came through for them. But I do think that they do have a bounce back week. I think that last week was a very humbling experience for them. And this week that they're going to do really, really well. I know that the Ravens defense is a lot more stout than the Chiefs defense. Chiefs running defense has not been great, and that's going to be very hard to stop Mark Ingram, J.K. Dobbins, and Lamar whenever he feels like running, because I know he's been staying more in the pocket. He's more sophisticated. He's been real sophisticated running, but he's trying to get more sophisticated throwing. But I think that he'll run a little bit more this week. He's been doing really great from the pocket. I know that a lot of people are upset in fantasy because he's not running all over the place. But I mean, in order for him to go to the next level and take that next step, he already has the legs down. He can only get better. And if you have that chance, and if you can, he's a quarterback. He needs to be able to throw from the pocket and continue that continuity with the receivers. So I'm really proud of him for sticking with that. And I'm really proud of him for staying in his pocket as much as he can to make those throws. But I don't know. I have a feeling, I have a tiny little feeling that it's probably going to be a shootout. Like I said, Ravens defense has been playing really well. Marcus Peters, it's like, here's a throw from the quarterback, and then Marcus Peters is here, and then he takes it for a pick 6. However, Kansas City can outshoot anybody, and on any given day, they can get super, super hot, and I really do like the Ravens, and I wanted the Ravens. I was going to pick the Ravens to win this matchup, but I kind of just had like a flashback to when they came back and they beat the Titans. They came back and they beat the Texans, and then they came back and then they beat San Fran in the Super Bowl, and they haven't lost yet. Yes, they might have stumbled, but they have not fallen off their pedestal. So I cannot give the edge to the Ravens, even though I know they're going to do really well. It's going to be a really good matchup. That matchup, the Saints-Packers matchup, and the Rams-Bills matchups are my top 3 for this week. So I'm ready. I'm ready for football this week, okay? I am ready for football this week. Also, earlier when I was referring to my conspiracy theory, I just think that some people have wished harm against the NFL, and that's why a lot of people's knees are going out. But that's neither here nor there. We need to sage, we need to pray for everybody to get happy and healthy, because all these injuries ain't it, and it's so sad to see. And I'm wishing the best speedy recovery to everybody out there. Sage the locker rooms. Pray for them, put some holy water on them, do something, because all this bad, negative energy is not it. And it's just not cool. Thank you guys so much for watching this week. I know a lot of our fantasy teams have been kind of injury stricken. So if you guys would like for me to suggest some fantasy sleepers, please leave it in the comments down below and let me know what position you need, and I will get that ready for you guys next week. But thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Become a bench warmer. Become part of the family. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in week 4. Bye. Know that the Ravens defense is a lot more stout and is a lot more stout.